Just when it seemed like the United States and North Korea had been repairing its tense relations, today things have changed.
President Donald Trump has canceled his June meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Today is Red Nose Day. Find out what it is and how you can be a part of a great cause on today's newscast.
Traffic moving onto I-81 North right now looks pretty good, but that could change. I'll have your full update on what to expect if you're heading on the road this weekend.
Welcome to NCC News. I'm Tommy Farrell.
And I'm Karthik Venkatraman. Today's top story, President Donald Trump says he will not meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un next month in Singapore. The president's decision to withdraw from the meeting comes after a North Korean official called Vice President Mike Pence a political dummy.
This happened just hours after North Korea destroyed 3 nuclear tunnels in front of international media to show their transparency by stopping nuclear testing. Earlier last week, North Korea canceled their meeting with South Korea due to South Korea's relationship with the United States. President Trump said in his letter to Kim Jong-un that he hopes to meet him eventually, but that, quote unquote, the world has lost a great opportunity for lasting peace. Trump then said earlier today that this decision may not have affected North Korea, but it's affected the world as well.
I hope that Kim Jong-un will ultimately do what is right, not only for himself, but perhaps most importantly, what's right for his people, who are suffering greatly and needlessly.
Earlier this month, a CNN poll found that Trump was gaining overall positive remarks from his North Korea approach. But the collapse of the summit may have just cost him that.
If you plan on hitting the road this weekend, one thing you won't have to worry about is state highway construction. NCC's Sarah Bonadies is on Almond Street with what to expect if you're headed on the road that way. Sarah?
Thanks, guys. So basically tomorrow at 6 a.m., according to Governor Cuomo, all New York State-related construction that is non-emergency will be halted on New York State highways in order to accommodate for this weekend's holiday travel. According to AAA, this Memorial Day weekend will have the highest travel volume in more than a dozen years. This is despite the fact that according to price tracking service GasBuddy.com, the average price of a gallon of regular gas is a little more than $3 a gallon, up 70 cents from this time last year.
I believe it has to do with the economy. It may not be thriving, but it's on an uptick. So even with the higher gas prices, people are generally feeling that they can travel more.
Now, highway construction won't be suspended until tomorrow at 6 a.m., so if you are heading on the road tonight, you may face some delays. Reporting live from Almond Street, I'm Sarah Bonadies. Back to you.
A mother and stepfather indicted for the death of a 3-year-old boy have pleaded not guilty earlier today. Donald and Allison Bovio are both facing charges that include murder. Police say 3-year-old Peter Stefanidis Vicino passed away due to substantial trauma to his head and body. Seneca County Court Judge Jason Cook approved the DA's request to have bail increased to $400,000 cash or an $800,000 bond. Donald Bovio's next court date is set for August 14th, but Allison Bovio's date has yet to be decided.
A high-ranking executive at Upstate Medical University has abruptly resigned. Sergio A. Garcia departed from Syracuse's largest employer after it was revealed he lied about his credentials, having a job interview with the White House, and narrowly escaping a car bombing in Afghanistan. Upstate released a statement saying his remarks were against its values of being honest and open. Garcia has since apologized for his statements made in a speech, but defends himself, saying most of what he said was true. He was hired by Upstate last year. For folks used to driving down Madison Street this week, you may have noticed you've had to take a couple of detours from your normal commute. Construction crews have closed off portions of Madison Street between Comstock Avenue and South Krause Avenue. The cause of the closures is a manhole at the cross-section of Madison Street and Walnut Avenue. The bottom of the manhole was wearing away, so it needed to be removed before it caused bigger issues.
Eroded over time, so we excavated that one, had to run a bypass pump at the next intersection up is why we had to close so many roads.
The bypass pump helped with moving flow of the sewers away from the manhole that the crew was working on. Work will be finished on Madison Street by tomorrow, but construction is set to move down to East Genesee Street right after, so expect detours there. 3 7-Eleven stores are boarded up in Syracuse as the company is moving out of the city and expanding to surrounding suburbs. The nation's largest convenience store chain recently closed its only 3 stores in the city, which was on James Street, Grant Boulevard, and North Salina Street.
Today is Red Nose Day. It's a fundraising campaign to end childhood poverty that is creating a positive change in many lives around the world. NCC News reporter Erica Pischke explains how impactful this cause has actually been. Erica.
Today is the day that millions participate in to help raise money to end child poverty. For the past 3 years, this campaign has raised over $100 million along with selling 30 million red noses themselves. It has reached children in every state across the country, Puerto Rico, and 34 other countries. While it is reaching many children across the world, when asking people what Red Nose Day is, they still said,
"No, never heard of it."
I do not.
While more people are still learning about the cause year after year, the campaign has managed to provide over 32 million meals for hungry children across the country. The nonprofit Comic Relief USA is partnered with Walgreens and began this cause to create a change for children in a positive, fun way. Last year, Red Nose Day raised over $40 million and have hopes that 2018 will bring more participation in fundraisers at schools and in the community. Back to you.
If you still want to get involved or donate to the campaign, we will have a link on our website at nccnewsonline.com.
Billionaire Tom Golisano has a problem with his multi-million-dollar house on Canandaigua Lake. There are geese droppings all over his property. Since his grandchildren can't play on his lawn, he's asking that the South Bristol Town Board cuts his property taxes in half.
To anyone with Memorial Day plans, another Mother Nature might literally rain on your parade. Julian Wiggum is live outside to tell us more about the weather this weekend. Julian.
Yep, despite this beautiful weather outside, the type of weather you can put some shorts on and let those knees out, do not expect the same type of weather going into the weekend. Cloudy weather expected to head in on Saturday morning, and then thunderstorms late into Sunday and expected to continue into Monday morning and afternoon. If you're looking to go outside and grill, I suggest you invest in an electric one. But still, enjoy this weather. It's 76 outside right now, sunshine expected tomorrow, going into tomorrow evening. 76 headed forward, beautiful skies, then clouds on Sunday or Saturday. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Julian. Coming up on NCC News, the recent accusations made against Hollywood star Morgan Freeman.
And NFL owners respond to new national anthem policies. Stay with us on NCC News. Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman has been accused by 8 women of inappropriate behavior and harassment. One woman said Freeman kept trying to lift her skirt up and asked her if she was wearing underwear. Other women say they have been sexually harassed by the Hollywood star on many occasions. The 80-year-old's career has lasted nearly 50 years with major roles in Driving Miss Daisy and Shawshank Redemption. And Uber announced today it is shutting down its self-driving vehicle operations in Arizona and will be laying off nearly 300 employees there. This decision comes after one of its cars hit and killed a pedestrian 2 months ago. The company will offer job coaching and other services in the coming weeks for the workers that are being laid off. Its ride-sharing and food delivery businesses will continue in the state.
In the midst of one of the country's most divisive issues over the past couple of years, the NFL announced Wednesday a new policy regarding the national anthem on game days. The new rules require players to stand for the national anthem on the field or wait in the locker room. The league could fine teams for players who don't follow the guidelines on the field. And while it leaves room for players to continue their protests as long as they are off the field, the announcement has sparked more controversy. Some see it as punishing the players who silently protested police brutality last season. Following the announcement of this new policy, the New York Jets and Buffalo Bills owners have responded. Jets acting owner and CEO Christopher Johnson says he fully supports his players and will pay for any fines if they choose to kneel during the anthem. Bills owner and president Kim Pegula said she is proud of the work the league and players have done to raise awareness for social injustice issues, and this new policy won't have any effect on that. The Milwaukee Police Department has released body camera footage of NBA player Sterling Brown being arrested and tased, and now the department's chief is apologizing for the incident. Brown was tased after police approached him over parking in a handicap spot. After the department conducted an investigation, it was determined officers acted inappropriately. Those members have been disciplined. The team Brown plays for, the Milwaukee Bucks, released a statement calling the actions of the police shameful and inexcusable.
A federal judge has ruled that President Trump cannot block Twitter users. It was ruled that tweets in response to President Trump is a public forum, which means the tweets are protected by the First Amendment. Being a freedom of speech issue, the White House cannot block users based on their viewpoints in response to Trump. The lawsuit was brought by 7 Twitter users who got blocked for their tweets. And former President Barack Obama has made a deal to produce TV shows and films on Netflix. He formally announced him and his wife Michelle have agreed to a multi-year production deal for the streaming service. Obama has said he does not plan to use the new platform to fight against conservative opinions. Even then, there has been backlash on social media with people threatening to unsubscribe.
When we return, protests against the actions of Syracuse fraternity Theta Tau. We'll see how students banded together against it after this.
We've been talking We've been talking a lot about the Theta Tau incident and the reaction of people here on campus, but how will it impact students?
The Recognize Us movement was protesting on Friday while hundreds of potential future SU students were on campus for Accepted Students Day. Julian, you were there. What happened?
Protesters gathered in Shine Student Center on Friday morning at 8 a.m. as high school seniors were arriving for this first stop during Acceptance Students Day. Chancellor Kent Server and DPS Chief Bobby Maladano spoke to the Recognize Us movement before they left the Student Center for the Dome, where the protests continued.
When news of the Theta Tau video broke on campus around noon on Wednesday, containing content described by the chancellor as, quote, extremely racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, sexist, and hostile to people with disabilities, student emotions ran high.
To be honest, I wasn't totally surprised that something like this happened, especially with, phones being so prevalent. I've always come into the university understanding that not everyone's gonna have the best idea about you. So when something like this surfaced through a fraternity, it was kind of like, well, now we have evidence that this kind of thing happens.
This lack of surprise was echoed throughout the campus.
It was shocking to know that this was made public today to the whole campus. But at the same time, I feel like this kind of attitude, these feelings, they are present on this campus.
When the video was not originally released by the university, students voiced their disapproval.
I was curious to see what the video was exactly, and I was a bit disappointed that we weren't provided the video once Chancellor Kent had sent out the email regarding the events.
Protests then took place in front of the chancellor's house, where the student protesters then marched to Hendricks, where hours of student testimonials took place.
I've never really felt like I was in a situation where I felt empowered and where I felt like I had a lot of support. And so when all of these things are, starting and everything, it's really empowering.
The Recognize Us movement that was born from this says staying informed is the most important thing one can do throughout this process of change.
Staying informed is the most important part. It's great if you have time to go out and protest. It's great if you can interview people. But if you're not aware of every piece of information that's coming out, something you say could be taken the wrong way.
Raising their signs and their voices to make a difference.
I spoke with one of the organizers of the Recognize Us movement. He says they're encouraged by Chancellor Servier's action so far, but this is just the start. SU has already made initial demands, which included kicking Theta Tau permanently off campus. There will be a town hall tonight with the Board of Trustees where Recognize Us movement will be announcing additional demands.
Coming up, your sports headlines, and we've got an update on the latest NFL recruit from Syracuse after the break. Stick with us.
I'm Dominique Patrick with NCC Sports, and today is a special day for Bartolo Colon. It's his birthday. Now, if you've been watching baseball as long as he's been playing, you know he's been on several different teams, including the New York Yankees in 2011 and the Mets in 2014. He turned 45 today, and guess what? He's still going strong as a starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers, so happy birthday to him. Defensive players usually don't get much recognition because the praise and the wows go to the flashy offensive moves and the player's ability to score. But a former Syracuse University linebacker was the heart and soul of his team, and he refuses to fail and won't let his naysayers distract him.
Zaire Franklin with a sack and an interception, stepping it up. The Philly guy planting his flag.
When you hear the name Zaire Franklin, tied along with it will be three-time captain, leader of the Syracuse defense, and now a 2018 NFL prospect. In hopes of making waves in the draft, Franklin trained in Seattle. His first goal was to reshape his body, and to do that, he had to intensify his workout and alter his diet.
When I went out to Seattle, that was a big part of Tracy's program, was just your nutrition and making sure you treat your body like a temple and knowing what you're putting into it is what you're going to get out of it.
His trainer, Tracy Ford, made sure to have him on a strict, high-protein diet.
I knew the day that I changed that would catapult my game.
The 6'1" linebacker trained daily, knowing he had to make a statement in his pro day after not receiving a combine invite.
I was most disappointed about not making the combine than I was any of the All-Star games. But, I just kind of took it as an advantage for me to get an extra week of training.
That disappointment transferred to the field as motivation. His numbers stood out compared to other linebackers on his pro day performance.
Pro day was just another day. Like, I've been having those numbers for like 3 weeks, about 3 weeks now. And it was just like, I done did it so many times, it was just like doing it again.
Since his pro day, Franklin has done private workouts with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Philadelphia Eagles, and has been contacted by several other teams. He knows he has a lot of work to do and continues to perfect his craft in hopes of landing a spot on an NFL team this year.
Zaire Franklin, known for being one of the hardest workers here at Syracuse. His workouts are pretty intense, and I'm even tired just watching them. But all that training came through for him, and if you stick around within the next hour, I'll give an update on how it all paid off. Plus, even more sports news from yours truly. Coming up after the break, Memorial Day celebration plans are underway, but do we really know how we celebrate it and why? We've got a Memorial Day history and facts when we come back.
Don't leave us just yet.
My Owens is live in the studio with what to expect in the next half an hour.
Barbecue, swimming, and flip-flops. What do these three things have in common? The making of a great Memorial Day. We'll take a look at travel plans for Central New Yorkers and what you need to know if you plan on leaving town. Red noses may make you think of clowns, but today they symbolize a growing issue among children. And 7-Elevens are a great stop while on the road, but you may want to make a detour. 3 7-Elevens are set to close here in Syracuse. Stay tuned for those stories and more coming up at 4:45. I'll see you there.
Memorial Day is right around the corner, but it's more than just outdoor barbecues and enjoying the nice weather. Memorial Day is the remembrance of soldiers who've died in war.
This isn't to be confused with Veterans Day, which celebrates the service of all U.S. military veterans. The history of this day goes back to the Civil War era, when Americans would decorate the soldiers' graves.
It was originally named Decoration Day, but was changed to Memorial Day in 1967. Flags should also be flown at half-staff until noon on Memorial Day, then raised to the top of the staff for the rest of the day. Now, we have breaking news coming in, Karthik. Harvey Weinstein will be turning himself in tomorrow to the New York City Police. That's tomorrow morning, but it's tough because we were just talking about Morgan Freeman, and you see all these actors, actresses, and the big-time stars, and it's just a sad thing to see, Karthik.
Yeah, what's comparable about both of those things is multiple women had come out against Harvey Weinstein, multiple women against Morgan Freeman. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the Morgan Freeman case, but definitely a big development in the Harvey Weinstein. But maybe something a little bit lighter. Tommy, what are you up to this Memorial Day weekend?
I'm going down to see family. I'm going to the Jersey Shore for Memorial Day. That's a huge holiday. I know it's a big holiday in the United States, but at the Jersey Shore, it's pretty exciting to be with family. Like I said, talk about the outdoor barbecues, jumping in the pool, just spending time with family and truly recognizing the beautiful men and women who served this country and that have lost their lives, overseas at war. So it's going to be a good weekend. So what are you doing this weekend, Karthik?
Yeah, well, first off, I'd like to say that we have to be obviously very thankful for the veterans that served this country. But for me, I think I'm just going to take it easy. Hopefully the rain doesn't catch me up a little bit and keep me from going outside. But I definitely am going to go see that new Star Wars movie on Friday. Solo. Yes. That's going to be a good one for me. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a nerd. I'm ready for the new one. Let's get it going.
You saw the weather's going to be beautiful. Julian said the weather's going to be beautiful. There may be a chance of rain, and you're going to go to the movie
If
theater?
the weather's nice, I will go on a nice hike. But, I'm definitely going to go to the movies.
All right, Karthik. Well, that wraps it up for NCC News at 4. For Karthik Venkatraman, I'm Tommy Farrell. We'll see you at 4:45.